Hello, thank you for joining me. So in this video, our video number 4 in a series in regard to configurations, design tables, and equations, I'd like to show you how to clean up our configuration table using design tables. And and we'll go from there. So we're going to right click in the design table, and we're going to actually edit that table in a new window. So what it's going to do is it's going to open up our Excel file outside of SolidWorks. And let's go ahead and shrink this down a little bit so it fits within the video screen. There we go. So it's very similar to what we saw in SolidWorks. You're just going to maximize that so it fills up our screen. And let's just say we don't want these derived configurations. You just want all the configurations with bosses. So we're going to take all these lines that have the ones with the boss, and we're just going to assume they're all going to have bosses with them. And we're going to derive all those items by using equations. So in other words, when the values get so high on these, in regard to the length of the shaft, that we're going to go ahead and add additional bosses to it. So instead of having one boss, we're going to have multiple bosses. So we're going to delete those columns, and it kind of compacts that a little bit. And in regard to the mid-boss and everything else being unsuppressed, we're just going to do that for the default configurations. We're going to make all these, instead of being suppressed, forgive me, all these are suppressed right now because they have the S related with them. But we're going to make them all U. So if you select all those boxes and just go in there and make them all U, we should be in pretty good shape. Now, one thing to keep in mind about this, if we were in SolidWorks doing this, all we had to do was click off to the side and it would change it. But here we're going to have to save it. So we're going to go ahead and save it, close it, and what it's going to do, SolidWorks is going to pick it up and it's going to give us, at least at first, the configurations that are no longer valid anymore. And those are all the ones that say 200, 400, 500, 600 with the boss. And 300 should be on there. We'll see what happens with that. And it's going to tell us any sort of configuration that may already be there, or any new configurations that will be made. So what had happened is we already were on a 300mm with the boss, even though we deleted it out of the design table because that was still active. We can't delete it while it's still active. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the default one, go back to the design table, edit that table, and we're going to take out that configuration. So now it's telling us that the following configurations parameters have been added to the table. That's the 300mm with the boss. But you know what? I don't see it in here. So it goes 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 as we'd expect. They're all unsuppressed, so I think we're in pretty good shape. So let's click on the outside of that. Still looks like it's there. But one thing you'll notice, and this is part of the nomenclature in regard to design tables here, we do have a derived configuration, and all the configurations that are being derived by the design table have an X in front of them. All the configurations that are derived by some other source or manually put in will have that box nomenclature in front of it, that little box symbol. So we can, since it's not part of the design table, we can just go ahead and delete that, which we're going to do. Okay, that's a little bit more in design tables. In regard to the next film, I'm going to show you how to, well, no, we're not doing this right. Yes, we want to make sure that we do have those bosses in there, which we do. So in the next film, I'm going to show you how to set up equations and how to derive this boss feature with a linear pattern by an equation.